So now let's talk a little bit about the open beta, of course. Kind of a thoughts slash first impressions of the game. I mean, immediately right off the bat, fantastic. This is probably the best Battlefield game I think we've seen since Battlefield 1. I think it blows Battlefield 4 completely out of the water. It's not quite as good as Battlefield 1. I'm still going to put that one up on a much higher pedestal, but overall, you know, coming in very skeptical, I am very pleased with what we've seen here during the beta. There are, of course, some basic balancing issues. We're not going to go over stuff like that, because I think that's kind of obvious. But, my god. Visuals are always unbeatable with the Frostbite engine. The sound design is incredible. The OS2, I think, could be a little bit better. I didn't quite get the same epic feel that we've gotten in the past before, but, you know, that's a non-issue. The gameplay is what we care about, and it is incredible. I want to start off, though, with some hot takes. Just some things that I haven't really seen talked about that I totally want to throw out there based on my own experience. The first thing being, I want to see the repair tool effectiveness nerfed significantly. I think it is ridiculous how quickly it can repair vehicles. The amount of times, you know, you fire an RPG and we've had it on the street, we watch the health bar go up. By the time I reload, it's already completely repaired. And I think that is just ridiculous. Tone that down, please. Along with that, I know a lot of people aren't going to really enjoy this one. Buff the RPGs and the C4 while we're at it. Maybe a little bit more damage, but mainly just a larger blast radius. I know it sucks to get killed by RPGs as infantry, but you know what? It is what it is, and I think it sucks that I sling a rocket at somebody right next to them, and they don't take hardly any splash damage. It generally feels like I have to land at their feet or hit them in the face in order to actually get kills with it. But then, of course, you know, the main thing being with the vehicles, people got a little too cozy around vehicles like crazy. You could hug a tank, you throw a rocket, you're going to do damage to the tank, sure, but nobody else around it takes blast damage? I think that's a little silly. So I'd love to see RPGs and C4 buffed. I think C4 is practically useless unless you, even when you cluster them all up. It's very rare I've actually destroyed a tank with all 4 charges, which is ridiculous because in the past, you know, Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 with dynamite, incredible. Did massive damage and we loved it. So do that. In terms of classes, also, for support, I would love to see an increased charge time for paddles. I think it's silly that you have a whole bunch of guys lined up and you just go bang, 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 bang. Just go back to what we had in Battlefield 4. It was fine. The increased charge for maximum health, I don't know why I took that away. It's a little too strong, I think. And doesn't really incentivize people to, I think, clear out enemies first. Why kill an enemy when you can just collect points and revive as many people as you can? I'd also like to see an increased flinch on hit. I would love to see kind of more suppression as well, but mainly when you are getting shot at, you need to have more flinch. I don't know how many times I have been hosing somebody down with bullets and, you know, whether it be maybe a sniper or otherwise long rifle, or maybe just in general at range, and somehow they still, you know, get a clean headshot or something. Kind of annoying, but just kind of something I would like to see improved there. Grenades. I love grenades. I think they should not be as fast as they are. It's ridiculous that you just, like, pocket sand and the thing just flies. They don't feel like they have any weight to it. I don't know why they throw so instantaneously. Frag grenades can also destroy the walls of buildings for some reason. I think that needs to be dialed back. But mainly the throw time. I don't know why they throw them so fast, but that needs to calm down. I'd also like to see, so this is going to be a big one, but I've played on console for the majority of the beta with controller. I did try mouse and keyboard on console, which felt weird. And then also I downloaded on my computer for a little while to play proper mouse and key, And honestly, I went back to the controller. I think aim assist is way too strong. I have always been kind of a controller player for most other games. When it comes to Battlefield, for Battlefield 4, I played mostly on mouse and keyboard. Battlefield 1, I played mostly on mouse and keyboard. 2042, the little bit that I played was all mouse and keyboard. Uh, I think the only one I really played full controller for a while was Hardline and some Battlefield 1, but playing with both controller and mouse and key, aim assist is far too strong. I had a lot better results on controller than I did with a mouse. I know a lot of people are going to say skill issue. I respectfully completely disagree. I think controller is ridiculous, especially with how you can fine-tune settings. That is also a good thing, though, because controller does feel very, very good. Personally, I'm a lot more comfortable with the controller versus a mouse and keyboard, but, you know, I still play with a mouse and keyboard on most of my other shooters. I think the only one I really don't is Halo, but regardless, controller needs some adjustments. Also, this was just kind of for fun, but I think the shotgun is fine. I don't understand why people are complaining. I think it's perfectly fine. The things that I definitely want to see fixed in the game, again, aside from any kind of balancing issues or obvious bugs, the three things I want to see fixed is, first of all, hit registration. Again, I don't know how many times I was hosing somebody down with bullets or, you know, standing 5 meters away, hip firing, and nothing happened. Well, maybe not 5 meters, maybe like 5 feet. But either way, hits do not register sometimes, and it's very frustrating. You go through half a magazine, and then, you know, when they kill you and you die, you see the little thing on the side where it shows how much damage they did to you and how much health they had left. How many times I have put like 15 rounds into somebody, pretty darn sure I hit them, and only maybe like 3 or 4 shots go through. I feel like that's something I've not been seeing too many people talk about, and that's definitely something that I think needs to be on EA's radar, especially when it comes to release day, or else, you know, I'm probably going to have to take a break, because honestly, even in the beta, I was getting terribly frustrated. I'm also convinced that client-side smoke is a thing. That was a big issue, I think, in Battlefield 5. Not completely with smoke grenades, necessarily, but mainly the debris and whatnot. Say if you're sitting next to a building and there's all this smoke, if I come around the corner, I don't know how many times I've been shot directly through smoke. I don't know if that has something to do with the new way, you know, you don't have to ping somebody manually. If your teammate just sees somebody and maybe they just see my marker through smoke, but I'm convinced that in some situations that I've experienced that client-side smoke is definitely a thing, where smoke doesn't register the same, where it's more cloudy on my side, but it's less cloudy on their side, so they can see me, but I can't see them. Big thing that needs to be fixed. The last one, I feel like this is probably a little more known, but maybe worth mentioning. Terrain is goofy. A lot of, with the destruction and whatnot, kind of came along with this, where you have these uneven rubble. Now I understand, obviously, you're going to have a little bit of variation and deviation when you're walking across it. That's one thing. I don't know why it causes you to, like, bounce a little bit. Incredibly frustrating. That definitely needs to be fixed. And then I'm sure, or, I mean, we've seen it with all sorts of other gameplay, too, when, you know, if you're in that situation, you die, you see somebody launch into the air or launch over there, and it's hilarious. I do enjoy it. It is amusing. It's not very beneficial for revives, though. If, you know, you died over here and then all of a sudden you're launched into the enemy, it's like, well, I can't revive anymore. This is really silly. But those are the kind of the big things that I'd like to see. But otherwise, the game is still great. I know a lot of people are complaining about movement. I think the movement is fine. This is actually the slowest Battlefield that we've seen. I've seen people conduct tests, and I was skeptical at first, too, because I thought it was really fast-paced, and I was wrong. Well, I guess fast movement. There's a difference between the movement and the pacing. The movement itself is slower. The pacing, on the other hand, I only think is quick because of the maps that we've seen are a little bit more condensed. I know on the one much larger map, I forget what it was called, but you know, all the mountains and whatnot. That one definitely felt like a regular Battlefield game, while some of the smaller maps were a little bit more hectic. Personally, I don't think the complaints there are justified either, because you know, every Battlefield game in the past has had large maps, and some a little smaller, and then some that are teeny tiny. We're gonna see more maps in the future. I'm not too worried about pacing. It's just something that's gonna be, you know, we're gonna have to get used to. Um, but I think it's fine. Also, in terms of the maps that we saw 4 maps. I really enjoy all of them. I don't think there's any that I really disliked. The destruction is amazing on them. It's really fun. And honestly, the map design reminds me a lot of Battlefield Hardline, believe it or not. With kind of the way that they're laid out. First of all, there's a lot of stuff in it, which I think is amazing compared to, you know, what we saw in Battlefield 4 and then 2042. Notoriously empty. Stuff being everywhere is amazing. Hardline kind of did that really well too. That was kind of fun coming from Battlefield 4 to Hardline, being like, wow, the environments are actually full of stuff. The main thing, you know, along with how they're kind of condensed, the main thing I love though is the verticality. I love when shooter games have vertical layers to them. Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1 didn't really have a lot of that, so I'm glad that there's a lot of that in this game, which is really cool. But yeah, guns feel punchy. The sound design is amazing. I'm loving everything that I'm seeing. A couple things I'd love to see changed, but you know, we'll see what happens on release. Whatever happens, and whatever doesn't. I don't care. I'm putting my pre-order in as soon as I can. But and I can't wait for release. But thank you for all for watching. Those are my thoughts and first impressions on the Battlefield 6. See you around.